Hi BookTube, it's Stephanie, and today I wanted to talk about my series project of 2024 and what I'm doing for 2025. Spoiler, I'm gonna do it again. So what I did for 2024 was that each month I spun a wheel and I got a series name, and I was either going to start a series or continue on in a series. And I had put 20 series there. All of them were series I either owned already or I had started them and got from library or on Storytel. So that was the goal. And for the 10 times I did this, you never got to see number 10 because my depression really hit hard and I just scrapped that film. But the 10 books in total for that are represented here. So here they are. So that green one was the extra, that's the Last Symbol by Dan Brown. But of these 10, I finished 2. And I got a pretty good amount of pages into, because I did start and read like a chapter here and there of these 2. So Grave Importance, and then this one stands for Trailer Park Trickster, which is book 2 in the Adam Binder trilogy. So 20% completion, 40% if we count that I actually got a pretty good amount in these 2. That was not what the result I wanted. Now technically my goal with this, which was also what I said the first time I did this, was that I wanted to be reminded about this series. I wanted, like these 20 series, I wanted to remind myself about them so that I would actually get to them and finish it. And I do think that in the beginning of the year I did think about them. I added in books with my TBRs before I actually read the books. And I did that pretty well. But then I just stopped caring because, well, my mom passed away unfortunately in the spring, and yeah, that definitely affected a lot of my mental health. Not necessarily right then, but after everything was done and everything settled a bit, my mental health, especially in regards to my reading, because that was a hobby we had in common, even though our taste completely different. It was something we had in common, so yeah, that was hard for me, and I therefore did not really care. And I think you can actually tell in my videos. I can tell, at least now when I look back. So I want to go into it again because I do love reading and I want to read the things I own basically, and that was part of this challenge, to finish up series so that I can start new ones without feeling like, well, when will you finish it? You've started 55 different book number 1s and you want to continue but you just don't. So that was basically that. Now the second part of this challenge was that since I was thinking about them, it wasn't necessarily so that, oh, you should have read all those 10 books. That was never really the goal. The goal was to be reminded about them, and then at the end of it being like, oh, well, I finished just 2 of the books that I spun for you, but I finished these other 10 that were also technically part of the series TBR, they were just never picked. That was what I wanted. But that was also the part I never did. And when I thought about it, now at the end, when I decided to just think about what I wanted to do for this challenge next year, was that I had put on 7 books for series that I had not started yet, which is funny for a challenge where you want to kind of continue on series. So that's number one that I'm changing. I'm still having some series that I'm completely starting over. But one thing that I also didn't do was that I have always mentioned, at least for myself, that I want to reread books, and I just never did. So there's that. So let's go through the series or the books that the series that I have picked for 2025. Now, I did mention rereading, and we will actually start with those two. And for the first one, we have Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is technically a trilogy, but I'm adding on The Hobbit. This is the only one of them that I have actually not finished. I DNF'd this around halfway point, so this will be the only new one. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy about 20 years ago. So that was a while ago, but I do want to reread it because I do know I skimmed. The descriptions are beautiful. But it's so much description, and at the time, it was also a time where I just didn't DNF things. But yeah, I do want to reread this series. So Lord of the Ring is the first series on this list, and it's a reread. And then the second one, that's the second reread of this, is The Diamond Throne by David Eddings. This is the author that made me start really not reading fantasy, because that was Eldred Svärd. I do not remember what the English title was, but it was not this series. But this was one of the series that made me want to binge each and every single thing that he wrote. Not this series technically, because the first book by him that I read was Domes of Fire, which is book 1 in the second trilogy. It was a doozy to go back to this one, but I have not reread this for not 20 years. I definitely reread this slightly earlier, but we're talking minimum 15 years, but I used to reread his books constantly. So I wanted to put this here to remind myself that I want to reread them, and to give myself a reason to add them on. Then instead of having 7 new series, I have 3. And I decided on, well, they're all fantasy, so it's not like a mixture of things. Do I have any? Yeah, I do have 2 sci-fi, I think. 3? Yeah. But all of these, I own the first books in this series, and in one case, this one, I own all of them. Dragonsbane by Barbara Hambly, the first book. I do own all the books. I got the last 2 that I needed to collect. So there is that one. Then we have Discworld, the Death Novels. Book 1 is Mort. And I love these editions. They are slightly more expensive. But for me to feel like I can keep on. I have the first 2, so I feel like I need to start it before I can tell myself to just keep on picking them up. And then I wanted a shorter series on here. A novella series, and for that I decided to pick Ogre Dog, the Three-Headed Ogre. This is the Me 3 novella series, and this has 4 books in it, so it's not that long, and I own the first 2 books. So those are the ones that I will read start to finish. If I do it, that's another thing, but the ones that are the first book in a series. So technically 5 instead of 7, but 2 of them are rereads, so it's that thing. And I'm pleased with the choices I made. They're not massive. Last time I literally put in the Wheel of Time series. I'm still happy. I'm so happy that never showed up. But yeah, that was one of the series on that list. Then to just get the books that I never got around to for 2024, which are these. So all of these series are on here. We have Tales of Pell by Delilah Estasen and Kevin Hearn. The last book is The Princess Beard. Then I will have finished a trilogy. Then we have Robert Langdon by Dan Brown. Natural History of Dragons. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The Lightning Thief. Nope. So those are the ones that I never got around to, but I'm keeping the series on this list. Now, another two that you will have seen, because I want to continue on in the series. Well, this one will stand for Adam Binder. So I am at book 2 with Trailer Park Trickster, and then also Full Metal Alchemist. I did finish this one, but I want to continue on with this series. So let's talk about some series, some middle grade. We have Shadowgast. This is book 3 in the Aeon Sea series. I really adore these books. Pick them up. Then we have The Beyonders. This is one that I'm listening to for on Storytel. But yeah, I want to continue on in that trilogy as well. And since we are on books that I don't own, technically, we have the Ancillary series by Ann Leckie. I am on book 2, which is Ancillary Sword. That's a library. That was also one of the books that were part last year that were never picked. Continue on with Folksago. This is a collection of folk tales. This happens to be book number 2, I think. Yeah, this is book number 2. I have actually read 2 of them, so this will be the 3rd one. And then we have Vengeful. This is book 2 in the Villains, currently a duology, maybe a trilogy. We don't really know, but I did get this special edition from my Lumi crate, so yeah, I put that one on. Then we have, I adore the first book, about the Kingston Cycle by C.L. Polk. I adored that first book, but I just never got around to continuing it, even though I bought book 2 immediately as an ebook. Yeah, so that needs to go on here. Let's go to the other manga. We have Death Note. This, I can't find number 4. I have number 4 somewhere. I have full of piles everywhere. But yeah, I'm on number 4 of 6 with this one. And then the last one is Janitors of the Post-Apocalypse. This is the last book in that trilogy, and I'm still ashamed for myself for not have gotten around to this one. And the last one that I should have put here on the first try, and that is Hercule Poirot. The Hercule Poirot novels, I have 11 left, because it's a comforting for me, and honestly, if I had put this on, I would have had way more impressive numbers. So I did consider, oh, should I lift them? No, that's 20 books. No, I'm not lifting them. Because that, and also there's a very real possibility of everything falling down. It's a lot of books in total, and this was, I did not count on this, but in total, if I finish all of these series and only read these, the odds are not that high, I would have read 69 books. That was unintentional, I swear. But yeah, so these are the series that I'm focusing on, hopefully, for the year of 2025. And just a side note, I did ask my body read friend, because I had yet again forgot about Hercule Poirot. And I asked her to give me one series that she would like me to continue. She picked this series, and I just noped immediately. And then I remember Hercule Poirot. So, yes. I will see if I get to it. I promise. But yeah, I noped so hard when I saw her writing that. But yeah, which of these series are you most looking forward to me to get to? And yeah, I'll see you next time. Now I need to clean up. Bye.